Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about functions. More specifically, we're going to be talking about evaluating functions by finding the output. So basically they're going to give you what to plug in, and you have to find the output based on whatever they give you to plug in. Before we get started on that, let's talk about function notation. So function notation, what it is, a lot of the times the students that I've had in the past, they think that the parentheses, because they're used to math class, meaning the parentheses means multiplication. In function notation, that is not the case. That is not the case. So basically, this does not mean f multiplied by x. That's not even it at all. It means that the name of the function is f, and the variable of the function is x. So f of x is how you call that. For this example, for example, we have p of w equals 3w squared minus 5. This means that the name of the function is p, and the variable of the function is w. On the last one, we have k of b equals 5 to the power of b minus 10. That means that the name of the function is k and the variable of the function is b. So basically this is how you use function notation. Again, it doesn't mean multiplication when you have parentheses. It means that this is the name of the function and the variable inside of the function is whatever letters inside of that guy. Alright, that being said, so to evaluate functions or to find the output of a function, this is how you would go about doing it. So let's do a couple of examples real quick. So example number 1, you have a function called f of x. So f of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 4. And you want to figure out what is f of 0, meaning if you plug in 0 for x, what do you get? So all I'm going to do right here is I'm going to copy the function down, but instead of the x, I'm going to leave it blank. So I'm going to write it down as negative 2 blank squared plus 4. Okay, so basically the same thing that I had in the beginning. So instead of the blank, I'm going to replace the x. Notice that this is where the x was originally. I'm going to replace that x value with my blank value, which they tell me to plug in 0. So instead of the x, I'm going to plug in 0 for this guy. So f of 0 means negative 2 times 0 squared plus 4. So if I square the 0, 0 times 0 is 0, and then multiply 0 by negative 2, I get 0. So it's basically just 0 plus 4, which gives me the answer of 4. So you plug in the value of 0 into the function. Let's do the same thing with the next value. So this tells me I have to plug in 2 into the function f. So plug in 2. If I do that, it's going to be the same exact function, so the same exact equation up here. So we're going to get negative 2 parentheses something squared plus 4, and that something, they tell us that it's going to be the number 2. So we plug in 2 into that guy, and then we're going to have negative 2 parentheses 2 squared plus 4. Be careful with this though. First you have to square it, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. First you got to square it, and then you multiply by the number in the front, which is the negative 2. So this becomes negative 2 multiplied by 4 plus 4. If you simplify this is going to become negative 8 plus 4, which simplifies to negative 4 as our final answer. F of 3, same exact function, so same exact equation. So when you're going to plug in, when you plug in the 3, you're going to plug it into the same exact function, f of x. So it's going to go into the same equation that we had on top. Negative 2 blank squared plus 4. That's going to be replaced with a 3 now instead of the x. And then we have to evaluate it. So again, we have to use PEMDAS. So this is going to become negative 2 multiplied by 3 squared is not 3 times 2. Be careful with that. That means 3 squared, or 3 times 3, twice, which gives us 9. And then at the end, we add 4 to that. So this gives me negative 2 times 9, which is 18 negative. And then add 4 to that, which gives me a total of negative 14. Okay? So that's how you evaluate functions. We'll do a few more for comfort, and then you guys should be good to go. So p of 1, notice that in this case, the function is different. The function is called p. And then inside of that function p, we have the variable x again. So we're going to be replacing that variable with these values inside. They could be numbers, they could be expressions. It doesn't really matter. It's just basically, it's free for all. Whatever they tell you to plug in, that's what you plug in. So p of 1 means we're going to plug in 1 into this guy. So it's going to be 3 parentheses squared minus 5. A 1 is going to go inside of this. Same idea for the next one. 3 parentheses negative 2 squared minus 5. And then the last thing is 3 parentheses b plus c squared minus 5. These ones I did them all in one shot, just so you guys can see that it's actually the exact same function p, so I'm going to plug it into this exact equation there. The only thing that changes is what I plug in. So in this one I plug in 1, this one I plug in -2, this one I plug in b plus c. So if I simplify this, I get, for the first two, an actual answer. So 1 squared is 1 times 1, which is 1. And then I multiply that by 3, so I get 3 minus 5, and then the answer is -2. On the next one, I get -2 times -2, or -2 squared, which is 4. So I get 3 parentheses 4, or 3 times 4, minus 5, which is 12 minus 5, and my final answer for that would be 7. And then the last one, basically, we're done. So since we don't have to plug in any number, they tell us to plug in an expression of b plus c, then when you plug in b plus c, this is what you get. You can't really get an answer for that, so the answer is basically what you get when you plug in b plus c. So sometimes you have to plug in a number for the function, sometimes you don't. So if you don't, you're lucky, you don't have to worry about it. I had another example 3, but you guys get the idea. So you plug in f of x, basically you plug in 10 into f of x and you get some number, right? So instead of the x, you're going to plug in the 10. Instead of the x, you're going to plug in the w. So if you want to figure out the answer to that, the first one's going to be 2 times 10 plus 3. Second one's going to be 2 times w plus 3. For the first one, we could actually find an answer for it because we actually plug in the number. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 plus 3 is 23. For the second one, we can't really get an answer, so we just leave it as 2w plus 3. That's all we could get if we plug in w. So we only get an expression. Okay. Now, the last thing that you may have in your assignment is if they ask you a question something like this. So basically, what is f of 2 plus p of -2 plus p of 1? Well, basically what they're saying is if you go back to all the stuff that you had, all your answers, what do you get when you take f of 2? So f of 2, if you look at it, the answer we got was -4. So basically I'm just going to plug in -4. And then we're going to add to that guy p of -2, which if you look at p of -2, the answer was 7. So that's going to be plus 7, plus p of 1. So if you go to p of 1, which was this guy right here, that's going to give you -2. So it's going to be -2. So the final answer for that, well, basically what they're saying here in a different way is, what's -4 plus 7 minus 2? And the answer for that is, -4 minus 2 is -6. So it's basically 7 minus 6, which is 1. So the answer for the last problem is 1. Okay, good luck. I hope this helps. See you on the next one.